Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DWG TV. I'm Hannah, and today I'm joined by Ashley Pullen, who is an account executive with SFW Agency. Today, we're really going to be talking about community and what that really means to get involved and how that benefits you from both a personal and professional perspective. So really excited to have Ashley here today. And to start off, can you just introduce yourself and kind of share a little bit about your role at SFW and like what y'all do as an agency?
Yeah, of course. So I am a 2015 graduate of the University of South Carolina, and my major was public relations. My minor was hospitality, and I stayed in Columbia for I think about like 4 years after I graduated, maybe it's been 3 or 4, and did marketing for the nonprofit world. But now I'm in an agency life, and it is a total 180, but I love it. I still love the nonprofit world, but I also love the agency life. And so here at the agency, what I do specifically, I kind of call myself like a middleman. I am in direct contact with our clients. But I'm also in direct contact with our research team, with our creative team, with really everyone here at the agency. And so I get to touch all different types of projects, which I love. I get to use kind of my creative side when I'm meeting with the creative team, but then I get to do stuff with numbers, which maybe isn't always my forte, but I get to learn and I get to grow when I'm dealing with the research team, because they, I feel like they're way smarter than I am. And so they really provide a lot of insight to me. And so I do spend a lot of time on the computer and emails and on project management sites, but I love what I do, and I love being that middleman and trying to relay the information from client to the rest of the agency or whoever is dealing with that project internally.
Cool. So how do you think that your background in PR and working in the nonprofit world, how has that really helped you in agency life?
Yeah. So background in PR, I think helps that, at least with the journalism school at USC, I felt like I touched a lot of places, as in public relations. You have to know how to write. You have to have kind of that creative side, or at least part of you has to be a creative. You have to know how to think strategically. And so all of those have helped me in my role here at the agency. So that's definitely been like a helpful thing, that I didn't just major in something that was maybe really specific. Like, I love our graphic designers, but that's what their background is, graphic design. But I feel like PR is very broad. And so that's definitely helped. And then in terms of my nonprofit background, I think I kind of like have a soft spot and compassion for others that maybe not everyone does. I think everyone does have a sense of compassion, but I like to think that I treat everyone with respect. That's clients as well as internally, the people we deal with. We can get frustrated, we can get annoyed, but I think having that compassionate side helps, and I think that's part of what came from my nonprofit background.
Yeah, awesome. So can you walk us through what a day in the life of Ashley looks like?
Oh my goodness. I drink a lot of coffee. We have like a fancy coffee machine, so that helps. So we use a project management system called Basecamp. It's like Slack or any of those. I mean, there's probably hundreds of project management systems out there. And so it's a lot of looking at my to-do list for the day and looking through Basecamp and seeing what is due this week or this day, or what is due in the future that I could get ahead on if we're not as busy that day. So I spend a lot of time on Basecamp and a lot of time on Gmail. And then, so I'm answering a lot of emails. I'm somebody that I would like to not put it always in an email. I think it's important to have like a chain, so you can go back and see like, okay, what did we say we needed to do? But I also think it's important to have face-to-face conversations.
Yeah.
So I love our office is we kind of have two sides, and so we have the account research side physically aside, and then the digital creative on a different side of the office. And so I like to just go over to the creative and digital side and talk through projects or talk through concerns a client may have, because I think you can relay things better via word of mouth than you can always in text on a project management system or an email. So I do that a lot as well. But we also like to have a lot of fun here. So we have a lot of snack machines. So we eat a lot of snacks and we drink a lot of coffee. And a lot of water, because one of our clients is like a water distributor. So there's water everywhere all over this office. And so but we like to have fun, and it's an open office, so we get to collaborate a lot as well. So the day in the life can look different every day, but it's pretty much emails, Basecamp, and a lot of meetings. So
yeah. So with all of that going on, how do you stay productive and efficient with everything that's on your plate?
Yeah, I like to think I'm a super organized person. I've discovered like sticky notes on MacBooks, and so I have a lot of sticky notes that I have a sticky note for each of my clients, and then based on that, it's color coded on if it's with the client or if it's with us.
Yeah.
Date that is. So that really helps. I actually learned that from my supervisor. I was like, those sticky notes seem to really help. And so that really helps me stay at least on target of dates and where the project. And also I think knowing when to slow down and just know I need to look at those sticky notes, like calm down. I need to know when things are due. Some things aren't as pressing as others. And so I think that's important, is knowing when to slow down as well. And also if you're rushing all the time, things can get sent incorrectly to clients or sent to the incorrect people. And so I think you just have to be wary of your time and what you've got going on as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because it is easy to get in kind of like the hustle mode and be super productive, but something's going to fall through the cracks if you're always rushing.
Oh yeah.
So I like that. So I was stalking SFW in preparation for this chat. Checked out y'all's website, all your social platforms, and it looks like a super fun company to work for. And so on y'all's Instagram, I copied this. Your Instagram bio says, "We're a different kind of marketing company that's rewriting the old agency rules." And I just kind of wanted to see what that meant to you, kind of break it down in more like practical terms.
Yeah. So like I said, I haven't worked at another agency, so it's not so much I can compare to like when I used to work somewhere else.
Right.
But what I can tell from our senior leadership is great, and they love to think outside of the box, and they have worked at other agencies. And we actually do this thing called SFWU, and the U stands for university, but it's really just like a class. And we have different classes every week. It's like a series. So I did it back in January. We just hired some interns, and so they're going through it right now. And so we get to see every part of the business, if that's research, accounts, the digital team, how SFW came to be about, which is led by our CEO. And so I think that gives a good glimpse into our agency when you're a new employee, and that helps us all be on the same page. And so I think that's where I learned a lot about how we were different from other agencies. Here we have core teams. So I am on an account team with an account director, and then there's myself, the account executive. And then we get to kind of just like have our own team within the agency. So we have 2 creatives that are on our accounts with us. We have somebody from the research department that's on our accounts. We have a copywriter that's on our accounts. And so that makes up like our core team. And so I think that is a neat thing of SFW, is that we have these teams, and so we really get to learn how each other's works, and it's not like, oh, I need this logo change color, like I need to just find a creative. Like I know who my core team is, and they know our brands, and they know our brands well. So I think that's super important, is we're not just pulling people all over the agency into our clients' brands. They know the brands well, so they know what is expected. We also have a thing called the four-part process, which is what we do with all of our clients. We figure out who the prime prospect is, what the prime prospect's problem is, a lot of P's, and then we know the brand, and then we break the boredom barrier. And so we follow that process for every single one of our clients. And I think kind of the most fun part of that whole process is breaking the boredom barrier, which I guess is another like term for thinking outside the box. Like what is something we can do that is unlike any other agency would think about doing. And so I think that process really helps us, and it also helps us all stay on the same, or like have the same goals. And so we may have different clients, but every client, every project, that's the four-part process that we follow. We always have that ingrained in the back of our minds, is that four-part process. So I think that kind of makes us unique as well. So yeah, it's a great place to work. It's super fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So how would you say SFW has really set itself apart from competition and built an audience for itself and really just connected with its clients?
Yeah, so we focus a lot on like home improvement. That's kind of like our space. A lot of our clients fall into something that you would find at a Home Depot, a Lowe's, an Ace. So that's kind of like, that's our bread and butter. That's like what we are known for. We have some of our senior leadership comes from backgrounds of that home improvement space. And so I think that really helps us. They can say, you know, with the knowledge that I have of working for, if it's one of those big box retailers, or if it's working for somebody that was in one of those big box retailers, we have that knowledge and experience. So I think that's definitely something that we are like different from, is that we really focus on like one type of industry. And then I think like the core teams that I talked about, that's something that helps us stand out. And then we just are, each of our divisions is just, we're really good at what we do. I think that all agencies would say that. And all agencies are really good at what they do, but I just think that the teams that we have here, we all think and have the same goals in mind. And so I think that just really helps us when we are maybe pitching new business ideas, is that we have that four-part process, we have those core teams, and we have the knowledge and experience that we can help you win. That's kind of like where brands win is like our tagline. So like we like to win, and like we know how to win. And so that I think also really helps us as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure it helps too with the SFWU. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Just being on the same page about the culture from day one, really. I'm sure that shows through to the clients.
Yeah, and just that we all have the same knowledge of the like how the company works.
Yeah.
I think if you just don't know how different departments work, or you don't know how the business model is run, I mean, I think that's important for all your employees. I mean, we teach our interns that, and they're here for 9 weeks. So, I mean, it's something that is important to our senior leadership team, and I am appreciative that they like value and they're okay with opening up and being transparent about, you know, the business model, about how we run things, how our operations run, why we do core teams. So I think it's important, and that transparency is something that I value, and I think a lot of people here value as well.
Yeah, definitely. So when I was perusing y'all's website, social media, I found that something that it seems like SFW is really passionate about is the community. And I found that really interesting. And I just kind of wanted to hear from your perspective, what makes y'all's leadership and just the agency as a whole so passionate about community involvement?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that all of us would probably say that we do value the community that we live in, and that we are passionate about giving back to that community. And so I think a lot of times different companies, like, they'll push employees to get involved in things, but I think it's great that us as an agency are involved as a collective whole in giving back to the community. And so, I mean, I think that just drives down from the senior leadership the importance of giving back to our community, and taking some of our passions and being able to turn that into giving back to the community. We are a company full of bikers. Like, road biking is something that if you were to ever walk into our agency, we have bikes, like real bikes on the walls all over the agency. And
that's awesome.
Anyone's welcome to, like, we go on bike rides at lunch, we go on bike rides on the weekends, we have helmets everywhere. And so a few weeks ago, maybe it's been a month now, but a few weeks ago, we did Bike to Work Week. And so they decided probably back in January, that they were going to do a 100-mile bike ride in October for JDRF. And so Bike to Work Week, we decided that we would also be raising money for JDRF and for that bike ride. And so we raised, I think it was $8,000 during Bike to Work Week. And we as a company biked 3,309 miles. So we kind of take the passions of, even if you're not passionate about bike riding, you can always ride a bike. So I can't say I'm an expert bike rider like some of these guys are, but we take it and we can turn that into giving back to the community. And so we reached out to people to see if they would sponsor miles. So every, for 1 mile, they'd give 5 cents or something like that. And so we reach out to people. There were people in the agency that maybe don't like bike riding or maybe just didn't want to participate, that they pledged to give X amount of cents per mile. So we really get involved, even if it's maybe not your passion. There's other ways of getting involved in the community too. So
that's so fun. I really like that.
It was fun. It was a lot of bike rides. And we did like cycle classes too. Like a road biker. And then a group of, it was either 7 or 9 of them rode their bikes. I think it was like Thursday. They started here at the agency and then they rode all the way to Raleigh. And so it was like 99 miles. So pretty much 100 miles. They rode from like 8 a.m. until 5 and they ended at the JDRF office in Raleigh. So that was a day of like tracking them on apps and seeing how everyone was doing. So I did not participate in a 100-mile bike ride. But we cheered them on from here. So it was a pretty cool week. So
awesome. So from what I know about you, I know you from college and you've always been super involved and kind of plugged into your community wherever you're living. How has that really benefited you from both a personal and a professional perspective?
Yeah, so I think getting involved in the community, I tell people everywhere that I move that I think it's important to give back to the city that you live in. Maybe you don't think the city gives so much to you, but it really does. I mean, you live there, you work there, you play there. And so I think it's super important to give back. And through giving back to the community, if that's volunteering hours, or if that's just serving on boards that better communities or bring communities together, it's helped me meet some super cool people that I probably wouldn't have met in my day-to-day life. They could be doctors or they could be architects where I don't cross paths with them on a daily basis. So I think meeting people, and you also get to hear different perspectives and different ideas that maybe you otherwise wouldn't have. And so I think that it's just kept me open-minded where I go, which I think that's something you can take professional life or your personal life is there's different things that I've learned, keeping an open mind. And then meeting other people, I've just learned the importance of giving back and seeing what organizations can do to make a community better. So I moved here. I don't think I said this is in Greensboro, North Carolina, but that's where I am. So I moved here back in January, so I've been here 6 months-ish. And it's been a lot of trying to learn, like, what are those organizations I want to become a part of? I think all organizations do good, but what's something that I'm passionate about? And I am passionate about the community.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a downtown Greensboro association that I've become involved with, and they try and better the downtown area, if that's by safety, beautification, and then just connecting the small businesses and local businesses, and promoting those businesses. And so that's something, because I live downtown, so that's something important to me, is promoting the downtown area. There's also an organization called Future Fund here, which is for young professionals, and you give X amount of money per year and it goes into an endowed fund, and then they give those funds out to nonprofits throughout Greensboro. And they've had just some cool events and some pitch competitions, which I was involved in 1 Million Cups back in Columbia. So I love a good small business pitch. So it's been finding those organizations and finding out if the things I value align with the things that they value. And then I've tried to kind of get, our agency has a lot of recent graduates, like graduated in 2019, 2018. So I kind of try to drag them along with me too to get involved, which has been fun because some of them are native of Greensboro. And so they get to experience some new things that maybe they wouldn't have, because I didn't force them to come to events with me. So I didn't look like a loner. So that's been neat, is just experiencing the city that I live in through volunteerism.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what have you learned about yourself through your experience, like being involved in your community, and how has that kind of transferred into your career? How do you kind of apply those learnings and experiences into your day-to-day work?
Yeah. I think a lot of nonprofits, working with nonprofits, but then also just being involved. I think being in your community is you're usually volunteering with a nonprofit.
Right.
I feel like it takes a lot of patience, patience within an organization or patience working with other people. And I think that that's a skill that can definitely be translated to your professional life as well. And also, I think the volunteering that I've done and giving back to the community, like I talked about earlier, it's made me a more compassionate person, and has made me keep an open mind about other people and other people's ideas and other people's thoughts, and knowing that people have different backgrounds and different experiences than I do. And so just because somebody has a different background experience doesn't mean that their ideas aren't valued as much as somebody else's. And I try to take that and apply it to my professional world, if that's with a client in a meeting or if that's just internally with people here at the agency. But I think when you give back to a community, you learn a lot about the people in that community and the different experiences that they have, and that makes you just more fortunate to hear those. I love hearing other people's ideas and backgrounds and why they do what they do. And so I think that's really helped and translated into my professional life as well.
Yeah. So for someone who wants to get involved in their community, whether it be in a professional, volunteer, whatever capacity, where would you recommend they start?
Google. Just kidding. I'd probably Google. So when I first moved here, I didn't know anyone, and I didn't really know anything. I didn't know about organizations here, but I knew that I wanted to be involved. And so I think I took to like Instagram and was like, okay, let me look up like downtown Greensboro. And then you just kind of like do that spiral rabbit hole.
Right.
And so then I started getting onto like newsletters. Okay, let me see what they do weekly or what they're working on. And so at first it was just kind of like researching a lot. And then I think I'm a very extroverted person, so I don't know if this would be the best advice for somebody that doesn't like to do this, but I reached out to the person that I found on the website that was in charge of the young professionals group here in Greensboro. And I was like, do you want to get lunch? Like, I'm new here. I really want to get involved. I'd love to get like lunch or coffee with you. So that's what I did. That probably would be a little intimidating for somebody that doesn't like to do things like that. So I got a lot of good meals and coffee with people to just talk about what I was involved in Columbia and how I can maybe translate some of that work that I did in Columbia here in Greensboro. I also, maybe if that's like a little too much for somebody, I think just getting a group of friends, or if that's just you and one other person or maybe a colleague, and just going to volunteer somewhere or to an event that is hosted by a group that maybe you're interested in becoming a part of. I think it's easier and not as intimidating when you're with somebody you know, because then you don't have to like go talk to a group of people because you're all by yourself. So
Exactly.
I think that helps, especially if there's an organization that you think you want to be a part of and they host events. I mean, just going to those events, they're usually not like these member only events. So just going and seeing how the events are held, seeing how they talk about the organization, I think you can learn a lot from that as well. And so that's probably a less intimidating thing to do, is like being a friend and going to something. And then finding out how you can get involved. Most of people that serve on the boards of organizations or committees, they love talking about why they love that organization. So it's not, I think, a bad thing to go up to somebody that is on the board or works there and being like, hey, I like am interested in maybe becoming part of this organization. They would love to talk to you, I promise.
Yeah.
So I think that is another way that you can go about getting involved as well.
Yeah, those are some good tips. And I like that you included something for the extrovert and the introvert.
Yes, even though that may even be too much for an introvert. I don't really know, but I always drag my friends. You can probably ask any one of my friends in Columbia, and they will probably vouch that I've dragged them to something in Columbia that they might have not else gone by themselves. So
that's good though. I'm very introverted, and we need people like you to push us out of our comfort zone. So yes.
To go to an event with me.
Yes. All right. So next, I like to ask some rapid fire questions. I do this with everyone that I interview just to get to know them better, and some really cool little facts come out of these questions. So my first one is, what is your favorite thing about your career?
My favorite thing about my career is probably the seeing work come to fruition, seeing it. When it was nonprofit life, that was seeing the dollars raised and then seeing the dollars go out the door, helping another nonprofit. In agency life, it's seeing on a much bigger scale, is like seeing a product in a store, seeing a product in Home Depot. I've like never gotten so excited about like going into a Home Depot and being, look, like my agency did that artwork or something, because it's a team effort, because I definitely did not design any of it. So I think just getting excited about seeing a finished product is something that I love about the career path that I've chosen. So
what motivates you?
Oh goodness, what motivates me? It's probably seeing those finished products that motivates me. And knowing that I am hopefully making a client's life a little bit easier, helping them and challenging them to think in a different way that maybe they haven't. Some of the people we deal with have been with in the client sense, have been with their company for years. Some may be new, but challenging them to think strategically, think maybe a different way than they usually do, I think is a fun thing, and also motivates the work that we do, is knowing that our clients are going to be able to go to their bosses and be like, look at this awesome work that we did, or like me getting giddy about going into a Lowe's or Home Depot. So I think that seeing that work, the finished product, and knowing that there's a finished product or a goal and we're going to reach that goal, goals always motivate me. So I always want to reach those goals. So that's probably what motivates me the most.
Awesome. What are you currently reading or listening to?
Ooh, well, so I'm reading a book called The Perfect Couple. It's like a total summer read.
Nice.
And then I am listening to a podcast called In the Dark. I'm a big like true crime kind of person.
Mhm.
And so I am listening to one. My boss told me, he was like, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but you may or may not want to finish the podcast by next Monday because something may be happening. So I'm trying to get through it because I don't know. I don't want to Google it because I'm afraid to like spoil what the ending, but it's another like true crime. So I'm listening to that and like hoping to get through it by next Monday. So
nice. What is the best career advice you've ever received?
Best career advice. This is probably something that it may not be whole career wise, but
that's fine.
something that I think about almost every day, because I do so much writing emails, is one time a boss of mine told me that us as women like to write emails and say, I was just wondering. We like to use the word just a lot.
Yeah.
And it's usually not needed. You can take away the word just. And so I catch myself a lot writing the word just, and then I'm like, backspace, like I don't need that word. Or I just wanted to know if you had seen. No, I want to know if you've seen that email I just sent. And so that's something that I use on a daily basis. And shout out to Catherine Swartz Hilton because she's the one that told me that. So yes, and so that's something I use like every day. And then I think something career advice that I've received that's been like on a larger scale. I'm trying to think. I feel like I've gotten a lot of probably good career advice. It's probably not to just don't fret over the little things. And knowing that it is not the end of the world most of the time. If you I'm a pretty anxious person, so if I maybe misspell a word wrong in an email, I'm like, oh my gosh, like let it go. Like it's not on a print ad, it's not on a product, like that would be a big deal. But it's okay, move on from the little things, and it's gonna be okay. It's just gonna be okay.
I can totally relate to both of those. So, and my last question is, who inspires you?
Oh man, a lot of people inspire me. I mean, my mom. That's probably everyone's go-to answer. But and I think I really do look up to the people that I like to say that I have the privilege of working under. My supervisors that I've always been with they motivate me, they inspire me, and they challenge me. And I think when you interview for a job, it's important to not just think like, oh, well, like, am I going to fit in here? Is this somewhere I want to work? But the person that you interview with, like, not only do you connect with them, but are they going to make you want to be a better professional, a better person? So I've had the pleasure of serving under so many great people. And I think all of those women, they've also always been women. So I think that helps as well. So they have been really powerful women. They know who they are. They know what their mission is. They know the organization, but then they also are there to be mentors to people that work for them. And so I've had that in the past 2 careers that I had in Columbia. I have that now with my core team. It's here at the agency, my direct supervisor, she's not much older than me, but she's so smart and she's been at the agency for a while, and so she knows the ins and outs of clients. And especially this being my first agency job, I can't imagine like working with anyone else. Everyone here is great, but there's just something about the way that she works that motivates me to do better, to be a better person, and to be better for our clients. And so I know that's not like who motivates you, and it's not like these big powerful women, but I think these women that I've worked with and these people that I've worked with are just like obtainable people that I look up to, and that inspire me to work harder and to be a better person. And I believe that everyone comes into your life for a reason. And if that could be somebody you literally just pass on the street, but everybody I've learned from, that I've worked with. And then, I mean, of course, like shout out to like Michelle Obama, and like, I love those people and they're so powerful and so cool. But I think it's also the people that you interact with daily that inspire me to be a better professional and better person.
Yeah. Good answer. I like that. So just before we go, I wanted to give you a chance to share where we can follow along with SFW and you, if you want to plug your social website, all that good stuff.
So SFW is on Instagram and Facebook at SFW Agency is the handle for Instagram. And then if you just search that on Facebook, we are also there. I like to think our Instagram's like is pretty fun. We have a lot of Nerf gun fights, wars, so those usually show up on our Instagram. And then I'm on all platforms, but my Twitter is at Ashley_Pullen. And then I know it's bad. I like don't even know if I know my Instagram one. I think it's AE Pullen, because for some reason I couldn't get all the same username, because there must be another Ashley Pullen out there trying to take my name. So, but I'm probably most active on Twitter, which is at Ashley_Pullen. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This was a really fun conversation, and I know I got some good takeaways from it, so I hope our audience did as well. So yeah, thank you for your insight and just for sharing more about the agency you work at, but also how you're involved in your community and how that's benefited you. I think that's some really valuable advice for anyone, no matter their career path. So
yeah, of course. I hope, I gave at least like one bit of good advice for somebody watching. So
yeah, you definitely did. All right. So that's all we have today, y'all. Thank you for being here. And just follow along with us on social media to see when we're going live next. And until next time, we hope you have a great day. And yeah, just keep up with us online. Thanks, guys. Bye.